So the next thing we do is now we put the yellow surrounds on it. Again, there is a longer version of these surrounds and there's a shorter version. The longer version goes into the front tabs, the shorter version goes into the rear tabs. All the nuts and bolts for the surround are in these two satchels. In the surround brackets, you will find 4 of those little surround brackets are taped up. Those 4 are the ones that go in the middle of the 2 tabs connecting the 2 surrounds. If you have a short track unit, you won't have these. But this one here is a long track unit, so one of these has to go into one end of the long tab, the other one onto the other side. So we'll have to make sure that we keep these apart from these. The first one we'll bolt on will be this one here, so if Brad wants to lift that up. So these surrounds go onto like these. So the one on this side, because it's got this alignment bolt here, is a little bit more tricky to get on. You got to lift it across and then just slide it in like so. Okay? And we'll do that to all the 4 surrounds. Now, the middle brackets, those 4 that are set in the middle, that will go in here. You can see how that is bolted in. So at this stage, so this is just been moved in. At this stage, all the bolts are just finger tight. Everything is still very much loose. Now we are opening the bag with the surround bolts. Okay, so there is 4 surround bolts for each surround. Obviously we also use a large washer. So large washer on here. You will find there is a hole lining up with the surround, the 12 mil bolt here on the surround, and again we'll just put this finger tight in. All the bolts are now going to be put in finger tight. Now we are ready to put the rear surrounds on. These are the smaller ones, and basically they get added on in here. So now we secure with the little bolt the 2 together. Again, at this stage only finger tight. That's enough. Okay, and then also we put all the surround bolts in. So at this stage everything is just loose in here, but all the bolts are already in. At some stage we can also start attaching the rear brake sensor to the actual mounting. For that we'll undo it. There is a special hole designed to go through the tab in here. So the rear brake sensors go through this specially designed hole underneath the sensor, and then gets hooked up into the BR for rear brake. Again, nice and gentle, find the slot and then tighten it. Now we're going to put the ramps in front of each section, turn it upside down like so, and you put that in front of each of the sections. So now all the surrounds are on, all the bolts are in, all the little brackets are in, and the ramps are ready to be installed. So before we install the ramps, we want to put some more of the floor leveler, and this time we make the floor leveler a little bit thicker, and we place it in front of the tab. So when the ramp is turned over, this part will be sitting on the floor leveler and it will floor level itself out. Otherwise the ramp will start sagging as you start using it. So just a little bit of floor leveler to this part of the track. This is where we need the ramp then to sit on to level it out. Now we drop the ramps in. Okay, so keep in mind we have the Durabed or the floor leveler underneath. These ramps go in like so. So the first thing you want to do is you want to attach the little 8 mil surround bolts. Again, just finger tight, that's fine. Do that on either side. And then we have 3 of those. And these 3 go in here. So now that we got all the bolts finger tight in it, we can actually start tightening the whole surround section. So we use for that one of these drill bits. The first thing we need to do is put a 5mm Allen key head in it. So the first thing we want you to do is to tighten the little surround bolts. Make sure that the surrounds are nice and flush when you finish with it. So the next thing we do is now we tighten all these bolts up. So for that we can again use one of these machines, or we can use just an 18mm. So all of these are now getting tightened like so. Now that we secured the ramp section and the surround section, all the bolts are tight, the last thing we do is we put Sure drives at the end of the ramp. Basically just drill a 6.5mm hole here. And then we use the Sure drives to secure the end of the plates. Done. So now we've got the tabs down, we got the surrounds down, everything is dyno bolted in. So this is step 4 finished. Now we basically on to the next step. The next step will be to assemble the plates.